forgot the lens cap. There we go, find the game right. Awesome. Hello, welcome to part 29, Kerbal Space Program Science Mode. This is basically in lieu of yesterday evening, because I was out yesterday, and I was under the false assumption that if I stayed out later than like my planned stream, I'd just be able to use the mobile app to cancel the scheduled stream. But apparently that's not a thing you can do straightforwardly on Twitch for some reason. So yeah, so I'm doing it like now on Bank Holiday Monday instead, just so to keep up with my kind of hopefully with my output of like, you know, a couple of hours every, like 2 sessions every week is the plan at the moment. But yeah, let's continue on. So last time we were looking at setting up a set of communication satellites to send to Moho, along with the like initial Moho mission is the plan. But yes, straight to the VAB. And I believe we have the I see I've named it Moho something. Moho contact deployment. Yeah, so I need to do a bit more thinking about this because I feel like the oh wait, the Delta V is oh, the Delta V calculations are kind of working apart from, for some reason, like these. For some reason, I think the mod's screwed with a spark liquid fuel engine. Like for some reason, it doesn't. It thinks it's a For some reason, it thinks it's a interstellar fusion engine, which just isn't. It's just a liquid fuel engine, so I'm not sure why it thinks that. Like, I don't think it does that for other. Yeah, but anyway, assuming if we check Kerbal Engineer Redux, that still thinks it's a. Yeah, I'm not sure what that's doing. Like, Kerbal Engineer Redux seems to think it's a single stage now. Oh, no, we get all stages, right? Okay, that makes more sense. And it seems to think that stage 1 has 0 parts, which is just very strange. Again, now the game thinks we've got 7,000 Delta V. But again, like, we don't have... Yeah, like... Oof. We're going to try and design this a bit better. First things first is... this... really helpful. Structural tube. Slightly longer variant. And we want probably like, no, that's a bit big. We're taking 3, so we want 3 of them. Something like that. Great. Maybe we do on the longer ones. have them lined up with the again, there should be enough delta V to get us there. So we need 6,000 and there's quite as much as that there. So thinking separatrons. No idea if it'll work, but actually if we stick them on the outside here, then it's probably a lot more likely they'll work. Like there. And we want them to go off at the same time as this thing. So that should be enough to get us to Moho, and again, like, we'll probably won't have a lot of fuel left when we get there, but hopefully if we can add the a stage, like if we can get it so that we can get it most of the way out of Kerbal sphere of influence with the because I mean the thrust to weight ratio here is like 0.1, which is going to mean some very long burns. What is that like? Yeah. Let's strut these up as well. This is in. Yeah, I think this is just confused as to what works in vacuum and doesn't anymore. Okay, right. So yeah. Oh yeah, because yes, because 0 is yeah, state 0 is yeah. I reckon this should be fine. So the question is, we need again. It's always Casperan style launch system. I don't know if we have. I think we need to use one of these, don't we? Give us another 12 structural tube, make it medium long. Actually, we want this to be decouplable. A little tiny decoupler. There. There it is. Like so. We want some separatrons. This is going to be the like the bit that the fairing closes around. Is the plan. So where is this decoupler? It's going at the same time as these, which will probably go before the nuclear engines go. So that makes sense. Let's add a news cone on there. And then let's surround this with our payload fairing, which will probably be at least a 3 point. Oh, let's turn that off. At least a 3.75 meter one, probably. Yeah, we haven't actually we haven't added the RCS stuff yet, have we? Because we put some RCS tags. We put some RCS in here. We don't actually have any RCS thrusters. So again, like I'm expecting that we'll have got rid of these by the time we get to Moho, like to do any rendezvousing. So we'll probably only need like, and again I want to do these in 4s really rather than 3s. Let's pop these on here, like so. Gives us some fine tuning, and then we also want some solar panels as well. Which we will, yeah. So they're electrical. Probably need like these ones, because yeah. Have it there, and we'll add some more onto the outside, so that we because then we can deploy these once these have been jettisoned. We will add a communication dish, which we won't need 3 of them. We only need the 1. Which I don't think we've attached one yet, have we? So that'll do. Let's sort out the action groups. So yeah, the default will be yes, the default action group will be like the ship as a whole, and then we can modify action groups to add these in later. So we'll toggle antenna, and we'll toggle these 3 solar panels. Yeah, cool. Alright, let's build this fairing. Make it silver. I like silver fairings. Right, now we need to get this thing into orbit. So let's set this back to sea level to be the most pessimistic about our engine efficiency. We're starting off with the 3 meter tanks, so the 3.75 meter tanks. Let's just go for one of these and see what this does for us in terms of 37 engine plate. Let's have more engines on the main central stage. What's a skiff like? No. Right, it's pretty big. They're also quite optimized for vacuum. What's their ISP like? 340 versus 310. It's got better ISP, so it might be an idea to try the Rhino engine. Meters per second and 0.43 TWR is not great. Oh, no, yeah, that's sorry, that's in vacuum. It's presumably, yeah, better. So I mean, I feel like in vacuum, So if we set this to vacuum, then if we can get this thing into vacuum, then 979 will get us most of the way out of Kerbal sphere of influence. So it's like an extra 1000 delta V. So if I can get like, if we can get this thing into vacuum, because obviously these vacuum engines aren't really the most efficient. So like, yeah. Maybe if we use like the engine, or like the sort of the boosters around the side to carry the whole thing in like into orbit, maybe. Or just make like this entire stage vacuum optimized and then build an even bigger rocket to. How many parts do we on at the moment? It shouldn't be that many. 135. That's fine. Coupling. We want one of these. We don't want one of them. We want several of them. I think go for free again. Just keep like the free symmetry. Add these things to sort of space the external things out. I feel like might need some slightly. We'll see. Actually, if we reduce the fuel tank diameter, which we will want to do, so we grab some more of these, pop them on the side here. But then, might these kind of slightly prefer the black and white, to be honest. Drop these down so they're about the same height level as that one. Keep it set to vacuum for now. Go back to place mode. We want that. We want struts. Try and get like as much of the top thing, as much fuel to Moho as possible, basically. So we definitely want these in their own thing. 1644 meters per second, 979. No, yeah, 500 tons. So I mean, if we can get this most of the way into orbit, then but again, this is actually, we'll leave this at the moment because we want to add some more fuel tanks. So we want to go pretty much down to 2.5 meter tanks immediately. Again, 0.99, maybe go a little less aggressive, so go down to the narrow tanks, because we just want these for structure really. 1.08, 0.06, and then that's high enough to strut. We want the nose cones first. So nose cone, and then we want the struts to go from the nose cones. Nose cone to nose cone strutting. There we go. Right, so that is 2500 meters per second, 1.06, and then 979, 0.72. So that's like 3000 delta V right there. So the question is, can we get this whole thing at least above the atmosphere? Because I mean, like 2509 plus 979 will be like, if we can get this thing out of the atmosphere, I feel pretty confident we can get this thing like fully into orbit and then most of the way out of Kerbal sphere of influence. So, I'm thinking if we stick this just on like a massive like lower Saturn 5 style stack. So we want the 370 decouplers, like so. Then I think if we try going to the big 5-meter tanks, so not that one, this one, sort of like we did for the lander, but we just go straight for, no, not that one, this one. Then we spoiled you. If this thing's going to have a fairing on it for most of its journey, then we want to be able to add some solar panels and stuff to the outside. Yeah. So before we forget that, electrical. 1x6 photovoltaics, and we'll add another Communitron here, but not that many of them, just the one. Yeah, we'll sort out the action groups in a minute, because they'll be a more complicated flight profile. I haven't actually tried any of these additional structural pieces yet, but a structural disk. Always used to have a structural disk available. Get the definitely some struts. And we want some engines, otherwise this stage won't go anywhere. I mean, like straight from the main set. We also want to set this to delta V of sea level as well, because we want to be okay. Bare mount. .18, which is like it's a little bit less than ideal, but you know it'll do. 2,274 meters per second, so maybe a couple of maybe some SRBs on the outside just give us a little bit extra delta V and a bit of kick off the pad. How many parts are we on? 241, which is, yeah, it's not the most number of parts. Save what we've got so far. We do want to add some fins because I assume the aerodynamics is. Oh, I don't think it has any aerodynamics at the moment, but it will do in a minute. Let's go ahead and we haven't done any separatrons for the side boosters yet, have we? So let's add those on at the moment, but we do want these things to definitely fly away from. So we want some separation. Some separation type SRBs. So separatrons probably do. Let's make sure these are in the right place. That is those, which is what we want to fire with. So we put these in the same one of those. What is this and why is this should be in the same one of these, so that all these go at the same time. Yeah, so we don't need to worry too much about separatrons for these bits, because this is all decoupling down, like below the rocket, so like very little risk of collisions with like the active engines. But we do want these to be like thrust generally away from the vicinity of the actual rocket. So let's just put a couple at the bottom here as well. So that should be all those. If we had some SRBs to the outside of here, probably some bigger ones, like maybe the Thoroughbred or the Clydesdale, maybe. I think it might give us a bit of an extra kick. One 1.31's, yeah, that's about ideal. We do want to lower these down though, because they're a little bit high up at the moment. And then we want some nose cones. These need the big ones, don't they? We do want some more separatrons. But we want these ones to go with these decouplers. Cool, we also want some fins, because fins will be useful. Delta Deluxe winglets. Probably want 4 on the core stage. And then maybe some more here. Just gives a bit more aerodynamic drag. We also want some launch clamps. Do. Let's make sure that's still at sea level. Yeah, so let's save what we currently have. Let's sort out our action groups. So we're going to be doing action groups based on the phase of the launch. So I guess the default will be yeah, I guess we can change default to be the starting set. So we can toggle the solar panels, toggle the antenna here, then set 1 will be nuclear stage, which will be, if we can actually see inside, which will be for these yeah, for the these ones and this one. Oh yeah, call this nuclear stage 1. Nuclear stage 2, because this will be the same one here, which we toggle the antenna, and then also toggle the solar panels for the inner thing as well. And that should hopefully, and then hopefully if we go to set 4, yeah, which will be for satellites. Which will also have the toggle radiator in there as well. Cool. Let's go to custom 1 and just make sure that we have control from nope. Control from here as 1 there, just in case it gets confused as to which. Okay, right, so let's double check our staging. So stage 1 is, if we can zoom out, which I think so far you can zoom out. Stage 1 is all the launch clamps and all the engines fire up. This stage has 1.31 delta thrust weight ratio and 1446 delta V. Stage 2 is these SRBs fall away, which gives us 1.82. We get up to here, and then even in atmosphere, this is not great thrust weight ratio, but hopefully we'll be higher up in the atmosphere by this point. At which point, hopefully this entire thing ends up in orbit of Kerbal, and then we send as much of this as we can on the way to Moho, and then stage it, etc. en route would be the plan. But yeah, I think that's probably yeah. So all those go, these go, those go. Then we detach all of this stuff. Where is the fairing and all this? The fairing is there. We want the fairing to go. We want to deploy the fairing after we've jettisoned all of these, because that's when the fairing will be free to actually deploy. We then get rid of the cap. We then get rid of this stage, and then we're on our nuclear thing. Then we jettison these outer tanks. And then we jettison the whatchamacallit, the satellite structure, basically. Cool. Right. I don't think there's any crew parts on here, so yeah, there's no parts of crew capacity, so I think we can just, I think it's daylight, I think we can just try launching this thing. I'm gonna drink my coffee. Again, it seems to think I want landing guidance. I don't need landing guidance, I am landed. I'm tempted by, again I'm tempted by the prospect of launch guidance, but again this is the first time we're flying this I forgot about that. First time we're flying this design, so I'll try to do it manually again. So let's turn SAS on. We think up is up, which is good. Our max thrust weight ratio is 1.3, so we're going to need the engines at maximum anyway. But yeah, let's try launching this thing. Oh crap! Oh dear. Well. We forgot some struts. Well, that is the first. I feel like that's definitely a screenshot. So we did strut up the SRBs, and I think that's what happens in the SRBs. They get strutted. We've lost the VAB, which is which we'll have to repair. I guess we can recover the vessel. Right, okay, cool. Yeah, those big SRBs, if you don't strut them, that's what happens. I think that's the first time I've destroyed the VAB. So, yeah, let's, I think you can repair facility. There we go, it's back. There's a whole load of stuff to recover. Are there any other bits? I think there's probably a few bits. Right, okay, let's go back to the VAB that we've just rebuilt because we accidentally blew it up. And then wait for it to load in this monstrous craft. Yeah, this is why we strut things up, because if you don't have struts and you have bigger solid rocket boosters, they tend to go flying off. Interesting, I couldn't cut the liquid fuel engines. Like I tried, but it didn't seem to work. I must have hit the wrong key. Right, yeah. So let's redo that. With some, I'm surprised at how strong these individual struts are, because like you only need like, I don't even know how many you need, but I always put on like. No. Let's do that again. Right. We should all have struts down there, and I think up here only one of them. What's going on there? Alright. Okay, this should hopefully be a bit better. Okay, right, let's try that again. So let's just save and launch it from here. Hopefully we won't have as many as much death this time. Quite glad there weren't any Kerbals on that thing, because yeah, I don't think that wasn't really an abort which you can really recover. I don't think you can. I don't know if that's an abort you can really recover from. I mean, because if you had Kerbals on there, like that's literally just off the launch pad that goes horrendously wrong. So, yeah, it's a good thing this thing's unmanned. Okay, let's try that again. Right. Again, stop offering me landing guidance. Like I keep turning off and it keeps turning it back on again. Right. SAS. Let's try that again. Wow, this thing is really not working very well, is it? What happened there? The entire thing just like fell out. I have no idea why. thing is not playing ball today. I'm guessing the decouplers are a bit too wobbly. Okay, there's a lot of recovering needing to be done here. At least it didn't hit the VAB this time. And I assume it's just like, yeah, there's a whole load of stuff. So yeah, so I think that that time, like the actual main craft seemed to sort of completely wobble out, and so there was no like correlation between which way the probe core was pointing, where the engines are pointing. So SAS had no chance of keeping the rocket straight. So yeah, I feel like okay, we need more struts. And tempting as it is to start using auto strut, I feel like I haven't used it so far. I don't want to use it now. Yes, I think because like the nuclear engines, the nuclear stage is very heavy. It's probable that it's just like this decoupler just isn't up to the task of keeping it all. Yeah, I think because there's a lot of fuel in here, so maybe we need to like better structure reinforce this. Which is easier said than it's rather difficult to do with the. Alright, so that's those. Is there any way we can sort of better strut it up here as well? I'm wondering if. Again, it's more weight, but yeah. I'm more concerned of being able to get it into orbit at all, rather than like it. So I mean, these shouldn't be so heavy. So I think it's like this whole. I mean, this is probably a pretty weak link as well, actually. Nope. Doesn't like that at all. Move him here. I might strengthen that up a bit. So that's some more struts. Hopefully that will keep this whole thing from wobbling around too much and falling out completely. But there's only one way to find out really, and that's to try launching it again. Alright, I don't think there's anything else that needs strutting, and again our aerodynamics should be fine. So let's save that and try launching it again. Hopefully the like the actual main module won't fall out entirely from the the other tower just completely falls out of the fairing as well. It's like it just passes straight through it because it doesn't disconnect first. Facebook notifications. Okay, let's hope this is a bit more stable this time. I think I'll wait until we're actually like safely off the pad and it's obvious that like we actually have some control over where we're going before we actually do any screenshots. Right, let's try this again. Whoa, this thing is wobbly as fuck. I'm interested to see what the gravity turn is like on this thing. We do seem to be away from the pad, and we seem to be going in roughly the right direction. I will try and ease it over for a gravity turn. But I'm very wary of this thing being quite unstable, so... Let's try and have it point prograde at this point. Seems to be okay for now. And our time to apoapsis is still going up, which is good. We're going on a bit of an inclined orbit, I think, but we can correct that. Okay, right. We're about to lose the okay, our time to apoapsis is still going up, so we do want to bring that down to about a minute. Although our apoapsis is already at 51 kilometers, so. But we do seem to be somewhat, yeah, it seems to be a much more stable launch now. Oh yeah, we want it. Yeah, I think we're probably far enough away from Kerbal Space Center to do a like quote successful launch screeny. Okay, our apoapsis is now outside of Kerbin's atmosphere, which is good, but we want it to be we want to raise it up higher, ideally. Nope. Okay, let's keep pushing our props away until it's about 100 kilometers. Gives us the best chance of enough time to circularize. Okay, let's see, do we have enough time to do a circularization? So, we want maneuver node, maneuver planet. We want to circularize, create node, start burn in 1 minute and 19 seconds. Cool. Let's point at our maneuver node, which will probably take a while because we don't have a lot of avionic control. We can also hit extend our piddly little solars. Okay, so that was a lot more successful than sort of getting to orbit, I think. Oh, these do have thrust vectoring, that's good. That'll probably do. What's up? 99 to 100, that's fine. Very, very slow rotating. But let's have a look at our orbit. Yeah, it's slightly inclined. It's not the best, but what's our 1.2 degrees? We could probably fix that and then recircularize, I think. So, maneuver planet, match planes of target, 3-second burn. 11 minutes, which might be enough time for us to rotate to actually point where we want to go. What's our after maneuver 1? Pretty much unchanged, which I'm happy to leave as is. Oof, this is such a slow thing. But again, like when we're doing like deep space stuff, we're gonna have plenty of time to actually like get ourselves pointed in the right direction, and we're not, and our thrust isn't off center, so we're not like losing we're not like drifting off when we burn, which is a good thing. So yeah, you point where you want to go slowly, and then you go in that direction. But yeah, so I mean, we've got like like 20, nearly 2,500, like about 2,500 delta V before we even hit the nuclear stage. So that should get us well on our way towards Moho before we need to ditch, and hopefully that means we'll have a lot of fuel left when we get there. Yeah, we shall line up and then we'll go to our... Yeah, that one is deployed. That's good. Okay, I think we're pointing where we want to go, so let's walk to our maneuver. And then we shall start thinking about the other target of our like impending transfer window, which is Dres, which would be a similar thing, which would be like launching a launching a like mothership thing, which will take the crew, which will probably be not that different from the one that the KSS Pioneer that's gone to Mars Juno. Keep forgetting that. And again, we won't do this at full power. We'll do this at like... No, we can do both at full power. This isn't like super important because I think Moho's on an inclined orbit anyway, so there'll be an inclination correction to do when it comes time to actually do stuff. That's close enough. Cool, let's pop myself back to pointing prograde ever so slowly. And hopefully we should have our Moho lander, we can unset moon as target now. We're not targeting it anymore. Yeah. So that's the three components. That is the Moho OMG, which will be renamed when it gets boarded, I think. So these are our three components. So we've got one in an 150 kilometer orbit. We've got two in a 100 kilometer orbit. So I'm thinking maybe we aim for like a slightly higher parking orbit for Actually, I'm thinking like the actual mothership for Dres. I'm going to see if I can get it to dock with the with Space Dock 1 just directly. Because like the other this one Moho MG was a bit big because because Moho's quite far away, it takes a fair bit of delta V to get there, so it needs to be quite a big ship. Whereas Dres should be somewhat more doable, I think. But yeah, let's turn off the maneuver planner. Let's back to you, just slowly rotating back to pointing at prograde, which is what we want. Again, we should be we're not generating power at the moment, but our solars should be out, so we should be able to generate power. So we're not going to come back to it being like have dead batteries. And yeah, we will go back to the Space Center. And then we'll start thinking about Dres. And the prospect of getting there and back, which I mean so it's Moho's about a 6600 delta V roughly one way, whereas it's about 4000 delta V for Dres, so it's a lot less. Well, it's a bit less delta V, which hopefully should be doable with and also we don't need to worry about so solar panels will be less effective, but we won't need radiators quite as much. So go back to the AB. I think we've still got like 20 odd days before Oh yes, I also need to remember to take the yeah, there is something I forgot about the yes. I need to make sure the Moho main ship doesn't have any science containers on it at the moment. I forgot to add them, so I need to double check that this science container is a cargo part that we place inside inventory, so we can make sure we remember to do that. Because if I don't, that's gonna be annoying. Well, I can send a spam the Kerbal Prime with it if I need to. But that'll be a job for the engineer once he gets there. So we want to open up the Pioneer class, I think, wasn't it? And see if we can adapt the Pioneer class to be able to go to Dres and back, which in its current form it doesn't seem able to do anything because it's once again horrendously confused. We don't need these. We do need these. Does Kerbal Engineer Redux have a better idea of delta V? It does not. Right. Okay, it's because these are the fuel oxidizer, and these are all set up to consume liquid hydrogen. I can see what. Maybe we can change these to liquid hydrogen. I don't know how much better liquid hydrogen is. So liquid fuel, methane. Hydrogen. Does that apply to all of them? Yeah. Oh no. Hydrogen. This isn't a lot of oh wait, we're in vacuum. Again, it still doesn't think there's a lot of delta V in the I think liquid fuel's probably the better thing to go for. Oh, no, that was liquid fuel. And do I need to do that for all of them, or are they all liquid fuel now? Yep. Okay, so this thing is a bit unconvinced, but this thing should hopefully have So there you go, delta V at the moment, total looks like 6,809 meters per second. Of course the thrust to weight ratio is not amazing, but not terrible, like 0.4 going up to for some reason stage 3 doesn't seem to have any opinion on its stage 4 643 for some reason I think stage 3 doesn't have any. Oh, I think maybe because these are still liquid fuel oxidizer, aren't they? Liquid. Okay, so what's the difference between liquid fuel and liquid fuel? I have a feeling that there's some difference here, because you got liquid fuel, which is like a single word, and these are burning liquid fuel. Are there two different liquid fuels? That's still set to hydrogen. That's liquid fuel over space. And then these are burning liquid fuel with a space. So if we set all these to liquid fuel with a space, which is further back, isn't it? I think. oxidizer, ammonia, because he seems to be going through in like, yeah, these are all in alphabetical order. So that's liquid fuel there. But these should be this. Yeah, that's liquid fuel, and this is liquid fuel. Oh, no, wait. I think it's because these are different tanks, aren't they? I think. Maybe. They have different options. Maybe it's just a bug with the liquid fuel. It has a space here and doesn't have a space. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's actually a difference between liquid fuel and liquid fuel. I have a feeling that it's just a typo in the mod. So say it's liquid fuel, we'll make sure these are all liquid fuel. Then this thing, again, it seems to think stage 3 is 0. Let's have a look. So, priority 1, priority 2, priority 3. And these should be all be priority 0. Okay, so it still seems to think that stage 3, which is... Oh yeah, okay. Oh yes, sorry. That makes sense. Yeah, their stage 3 isn't doing anything, which is why. Okay, so that's like 8,000... Like 8,800 delta V total. Yeah. Yeah, 8,800, which is, by itself, should be enough to get to Moho, to Dres and back. Of course, this is a very long thing, but I'm thinking if we try and drag this thing into orbit, let's make sure that we do have all the things we need in terms of science. We've got those two. We do have some more science experiments we can add in. So I'm thinking if we move these to the side a bit. Maybe not that much. Like that. This is a useful gamma ray spectrometer, might be. We have one of those. Again, like I don't know if these are separate experiments. So I mean, if they're separate experiments, they generally separate science, separate science. That we don't need that. We don't need that because we're not landing this thing. We're not going into an atmosphere of this thing. I think the gamma ray spectrometer just, yeah. Oh, it also acts as a resource scanner. Oh, it looks for I guess uranium ore. These are cool. I think we have what we need there. Let's close this. Oh yeah, so I'm thinking if we try and pull this thing into orbit with essentially like, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So yeah, so we want to like build our sort of main rocket structure around this because this is going to be pretty like heavy. So it's not really like it's like Pioneer A class now at the moment. But yeah, so we make sure this is still set to short. Cool. We save what we have. We'll leave this open because Again, this thing isn't really that aware of how much delta V these things should have. And again, these things don't allow cross feed, which is again, I'm kind of assuming this will work, but I'm hoping the fuel priority way of doing this will actually fix things. Right. So yeah, fuel tanks. We'll start off with maybe not that one. Maybe this one. Start off with the okay, so if we assume that these are like, so we kind of want this entire, because this entire thing should have enough delta V to go from low Kerbal orbit. So I kind of want enough delta V to get this thing into low Kerbal orbit, and then not much further. So whereas like with like the lander and the stuff we're sending autonomously and the Comnet, I want to like get as much of that with as much fuel as possible to the destination, because those things are going to act like flying fuel tanks. The idea being that we can refuel the main ship as much as possible when we're there to give as much delta V as possible getting back. Whereas with the main ship, like in this theory, again in theory, this main ship should have enough delta V. We're only going to like to visit one body, so this thing should have enough delta V to go there and back. So we shouldn't need to refuel it. But obviously, if we have the opportunity to, then you know it kind of works for us. So yeah, engines. Let's just go to sea level for Kerbal, because this is the getting into orbit stage of things. Again, I'm kind of wondering if it's worth. Oh yeah, we also do want a. We do also want a payload bearing. Again, I think we can do the 2.5 meter variant. Okay, right, that's that. Okay, not a lot of delta V, but hopefully we'll have more if we do this, which will be a case of adding, we'll have 4 of these, which we will then probably need a little bit of spacing. One of these on each of them. Then a long 2.5 meter fuel tank. Why is upside down? There we go. Got quite clippings, that's good. We have a fuel line gone, there we go. No. Oh yeah, sorry, it's got the it has the engine attachment, doesn't it? So we need to grab one of these. Start reducing the diameter down. Oof, wow, this is laggy. Why is it so laggy? Parts for 115. It's only like a lot of parts. It's just that's the wrong one. Not one of these. Electrical. No, we want command and control, don't we? Let's grab some of these on here so there's a bit more thing. And yeah, I'm aware of the fact that the TWR is now 0.98, which is not good if you want to get off the launch pad. See if we can't strut this up. Cool, you can strut to the shielded docking port because of course you can. Why wouldn't you be able to do that? Okay, so that's too far. That's 2200. That's 2300 delta V. Yeah, so not a great TWR off the bat, which is fine. Again, those are really cozying up to the fairing. I wonder if we can. I think those are clipping in, aren't they? I want to go a bit cheeky and nudge these a bit further out. Maybe not them, maybe these. There you go, there's some clearance and it only just like marginally looks stupid. It'd look less stupid once we add struts. Okie dokie, right, so we have this thing, it's not going anywhere at the moment. We do want to add some separatrons to these so that we don't have collisions. Right, let's those into that. Let's duplicate them a bit. Add them to the other side, flip them around so they don't make everything spin endlessly. Maybe we actually put them so they're facing the right way. There we go. We'll see TWR up the stage here. 0.58. It's not great, but again, we're nearly like enough to get into orbit here. So coupling. We want some more of these. Go on the outside here. And some SRBs. So probably want some on the order of these engines. So those are kickback and maybe thoroughbreds, but let's see what also kickbacks. Not great. I feel like maybe we need something a little bit more. Maybe the thoroughbreds all we want to go for. It's 2600 with 1.32 off the pad. Then 1.35 when we disengage them. Well, I do feel like maybe it's worth making it like I'm thinking maybe it's worth putting like another stage below rather than going further out wide. So this is a fairly tall rocket as it is, but I'm thinking before we stick SRBs on the outside, we do have wider rocket parts with more engines available. So I'm thinking if we go down another stage, so maybe we can get some decent stuff off of a lower stage. So if we go from the 2 to 3 adapter, get the coupling, get the 3.7 engine plate, triple attach nodes, and then we stick again probably more mainsails, but like we make them bare mount. Yeah, 1.62 1100. That should be just about enough to get us into orbit. Okay, so that's some struts. Kind of tempted by the prospect of putting fins on both stages, although I want to be a bit wary of setting the center of pressure too high. So I guess the question is, if we add fins to here, and then add more, so that basically when these come on, because if we're still in the atmosphere when these drop off, we want the center of aerodynamic pressure to be towards the back, and if we add more down here, then we'll bring our center of drag further backwards for our like initial launch. So that comes down there. We add some to here. These will bring them even. This will bring even further down, and then we're comfortably below our center of mass. Yeah. Then we add in some launch clamps. A lot of space in there for launch clamps now. But I reckon that should probably be fine. Okay, so this is going to be our Dres Mothership, which will then save. Again, hopefully that should be able to get into orbit. We're currently at about 3:30, so we're an hour and a half in, so I feel like it's probably enough time to launch this and then start thinking about lander ideas. Okay, so let's check our staging. So all of these engines go first. This stage has 1.6 Excalibur, but more delta like TWR than we really ideally want. Make sure this is actually on sea level. Yep. But that should be fine. Then we go to this stage, which should hopefully be higher up in the atmosphere. So we should have more than one TWR by that point. After which, then we drop this when we're in vacuum. That goes up to 200. So it's not super much better, but you know, it's a bit more. 0.58, which isn't great. Then yeah, we have everything else. So let's try and get this thing into like a. I'm thinking either another 150 kilometer orbit or something. But we'll do this from the. Oh yeah, we want to do the. Let's turn off Kerbal Engineer Redux. Let's sort out our action groups. So, what do we currently have set up? So solar panels. Where's the communication dish gone? Do we have a communication dish? That's the question. No, yeah, it's on that side. Nope, nope. I want this. Toggle antenna. We can extend the boom as well. Does it have an extend boom? No idea what that is. I don't think toggles probably like extends it, but that'll be fine. Custom 5. Let's open this to make sure that we get everything we need. So we have crew report, conductor study, log temperature, observatory degree, log pressure. Log gravity data. Scan gamma rays. Run magnetometer report. Log magnetospheric data. I think that's everything. And then custom 1 will hopefully be to toggle the service bay, toggle the ladder, which I think is the only ladder we need. Oh, we want to add some might add some ladder, like a ladder thing there actually. Not 4 of them, just the one. Just so that it's we've got ladder coverage there, because there's a bit of a gap between the built-in ladders otherwise. I'll do. Maybe we can, like, there. hopefully that'll work. But yeah, cool. Right, let's save this and try get it into orbit. We're going to do it from the launch pad because we don't want any Kerbals on it when we launch, because we're going to send the Kerbals up afterwards. Cool. So launch pad. It should be under Dres Mothership. We don't want anyone on board yet. Launch the vessel. Yeah, I think the loading times have definitely increased since I installed a load of mods. Okay, wait, briefing cup is up, which is good. That's the on. Throttle to like near maximum, but not quite maximum, because okay, let's try this thing out. MechJeb. Move planner. Circularize. Create node. Start burn then. That's our power like. Still fine. So we execute the node ourselves. Yeah, 300 meters per second. We're going to have loads of delta V left over. Actually, 343 is almost, yeah. We could do most of it on we could do most of it on these engines and the last bit on this one. Yeah, so we'll burn until our Parallax is still in the atmosphere. Then we'll cut engines, stage, continue burning. With the plan. Got to remember to cut the engines first, otherwise these things will go flying off, and you don't want that. That's 45, let's stage and go. I've got limited probe control. That's fine. Control octane. Can we do this and hit 0 to... There we go, right, we've got full probe control now. I mean, that's fairly decent orbit. And hopefully those things will be right, so this will be awaiting our thing with... Yeah, I'm not sure why this thing doesn't think it's got any yeah, priority 1, 2, 3. But yeah, I should have plenty of delta V. Maybe we could detach this like just before we go. That should be that one, yep. Cool, right, yeah, so our Dres Mothership, which is essentially like a slightly modified version of the let's just time warp around to daylight again. Before we do anything else. I just want to have a look at it in daylight. Because I want to have a look at this thing. Does this just activate magnetometry, just extend it? Oh, I see. So that's actually like running magnetometer stuff. Yeah, we don't need it active. I assume it consumes power when it's active. Cool. Right. So this, yeah. So we're gonna leave this thing in orbit. Hopefully we're in actually, well, let's. Oh yeah. Actually, our orbit's a bit. Yeah. We've got. Hopefully we've got enough delta V to fix inclination. So let's set that moon as target. Yeah. It looks like we've got. Yeah, 6.2. Let's let's do a match planes of target. That's most of the thing in that. That's the most of the That's most of the fuel in the stage, which is fine. Oh, interesting. Does it oh, when it says match planes of target, does MechJeb figure it out so that you don't actually change the other parameters of your orbit? So it literally is just a plane change. That's neat. Because obviously, like, when you do a normal or anti-normal burn, because you're adding velocity, you'll generally make your orbit bigger. Whereas I assume MechJeb's doing the calculations such that it does so that so the actual orbital parameter is the same. It's just the inclination change that you're doing. So pointing where we want to go. Let's time warp around. Again, this is going to be most of the fuel in this stage. So. Let's go down to maneuver. And start burning. Okay, hopefully our 0 degrees, and yeah, our orbit is pretty much the same. So we're now in a 100-kilometer orbit, which again, it's fine. Like, again, we're pretty far away from these two, so there's very little chance of us colliding with it in the next however many days it is. The Dres window, which is 27 days to Dres, and 24 days to Kerbal, to Moho, sorry. Cool, right, so we've got about 10 minutes of the stream, like the planned stream length left, so we can pop this back towards prograde. Yeah, we can head back to the space center and start thinking about landers. Because again, like the ComSat deployment's going to be relatively straightforward. I mean, it's just going to be 3 ComSats with something with enough delta V to get it to Dres. And I'm not too worried about getting as much fuel as possible to Dres, because in theory this thing should have enough fuel to get there and back. Oh yeah, I was going to try and dock it to the station, wasn't I? But I guess it'd make more sense just to launch it from here. Cool, so I'm thinking for the Dres lander, if we can land somewhere near the Dres Canyon, then we can explore the Dres Canyon and get some science from it. And I'm thinking whereabouts the canyon actually is. I assume if we can probably have a look at Dres in the tracking station. Here's what I'll try and do. Maybe we can get an idea of what Dres looks like and where this canyon is. Because like, do you land sort of like to one side of it and then try and get like a mini lander to go down into it, or do you try and land at the end of it and then get a rover to drive up into it? Which is what I'm considering. So we do, I think it's tab, isn't it, to switch focus. So Juna, Ike, Dres. Hello, Dres. So I assume the canyon is a very, very obvious feature. It's supposed to be near the equator. It might be here, actually. I think this might be it. This might be the Dres Canyon. So it's supposed to be quite a big feature. That looks quite canyony to me. I suppose we can probably fast forward time a bit. So okay, everything looks like obviously canyon-esque. I think that's it. So it looks like, yeah, it definitely looks like landing at one end of it isn't going to be an option. So we're going to have to land to one side of it or the other. And then either send a probe down into it, which I'm thinking maybe that might be the way to do it. Send a probe down, rather than sending something with Kerbals. Or even like launch a separate probe. And do like an unmanned probe landing, and then launch it back into that might be an idea. Because I've got no idea what the actual, like, I assume the canyon walls are quite steep, so you'd have to fly down into it, but I'm pretty sure that's the canyon. So yeah, like landing at one end of it's probably not going to be an option. We're going to land to one side or the other. And then try going down into it, either with a mini lander. Because this is basically quite similar to the Mun, so yeah, 430 delta V to land from orbit. So I'm thinking, like, one thing I'd like to do is, well, like, yeah, again, like kind of like a mini lander type job with some EVA chairs and stuff, so that you can wait for the VAB. Lots of loading times. This would be a great time to respond to some chat messages if I had any, but there we go. Right, yeah, it's trying to load in that massive ship, which we don't want anymore. Right, so I'm wondering, maybe not the remote guidance unit, but maybe like the Octo 2 is quite okay. The Octo 2 is quite small. Somebody maybe can build something based on actually. There it is, remote guidance unit. Because the remote guidance unit is does it have a yeah, it does have a reaction wheel. It's not a super powerful one, but it'll probably do for our purposes. Obviously, being a science lander, we want the science junior, and we want to be able to take a scientist with us to So we set this to like Dres. Wherever Dres is on this thing. Dres. See, I'm thinking if we could build like a mini lander that just has all the science equipment on it, and we could stow the mini lander inside the main lander, do the science at the landing spot, then take the mini lander out with the same equipment, and take it down into the canyon, ideally with 1 or 2 Kerbals attached to it, but with a remote guidance unit in case we need it. That's probably a little bit overkill. I'm making one of these. Then be all relevant science information for a vacuum mission. Seismometer. Maybe we'll send the seismometer to below. So that's all the science related stuff. We've got trying to if we take a single command share, then like we only need to take this, we only need to take the but I feel like maybe if we can fit 2 on, then we can take a pilot and a take a pilot and a scientist, so you definitely have to be able to create maneuver nodes and stuff. Let's see, we'd take a relatively small fuel tank, like one of these, and then a look at that TWR 1100, which is once we attach some landing legs to it, again that thrust ratio is ridiculously high. What's the 290 versus 345? Never got anything of a better ISP, do we? No. So that's the most efficient. Of course, if we had the weight of two Kerbals in these seats, I don't think the seats automatically have Kerbals in them, do they? But yes, so we want the legs to the ground. Probably these landing struts. There you go. Mini lander. And again, 1000 delta V should be enough. I mean, like 1000 delta V should be enough to get into orbit back. So, like twice. So we should have enough to go down into the down into the Dres Canyon, and then come back again. So I'm thinking if we take this thing, if we like house this thing inside our like main lander, in such a way as we can easily like detach it. Let's make sure our center of mass and thrust are relatively well overlaid. They should be, I think. Yeah, because these components aren't that massive compared to like the fuel tank. And then this should be plenty enough to maintain control. We don't need aerodynamic, we don't need... Yeah, so you can sit two Kerbals in it. And again, you can thrust limit this down to like probably like 25%. Yeah, plenty of TWR for that. Maybe even like 20%. There you go. That's about what I like in a lander. So that's like a Dres Canyon Explorer essentially. And if we keep this like stowed inside the main lander, then we can use all of this science equipment at our main landing site, and then detach it and fly it somewhere else. Is the idea. But yes, so we will save this as we have as a Dres Canyon Explorer. And so we've just gone past 4 o'clock PM, which means that we've done 2 hours of streaming. So I think we'll probably leave it there. So we just save this thing. We will then, so next time, which will hopefully again be Thursday, but you know, life sort of returned to normal now, so I might be busy. I'll try and keep the stream schedule up to date. Oh, I'm still in tracking station. I want to be in VAB. Oh well, I've been there for like 10 minutes, so hopefully I haven't blocked anything too interesting there. But yeah, so like, you know, life's kind of returning to normal, so like my kind of other like social life is sort of starting up again. So again, I'll try and keep the stream schedule up to date and cancel streams when I can't do them. But if I can't figure out how to do that from mobile, then sometimes I might end up like not doing a stream even though it's scheduled, which obviously I don't want to avoid doing if at all possible. So if there is a way of managing your stream schedule from the Twitch mobile app, I'd love to know about it. But anyway, we will save this. We'll watch it because it's not going to go anywhere. We'll head back to the title screen, and yeah, so yeah, we've had some interesting launch experiences. I think that's probably like one of the worst launches I've ever done in Kerbal, like even with the ability to revert. This doesn't need repairing, does it? No, it's fine. But no, yeah. So we'll have a quick scan around to make sure there's any other. Oh yeah, there's more debris. So much debris. It went everywhere. But yeah, so we'll save there, and hey, so again, hopefully Thursday. I'll try and like keep that up to date if I can. Yeah, Thursday we shall continue designing and possibly testing Moho lander components. Because again, like not Moho, it's like Dres lander components. Because Dres like the Mun is a much like better sort of comparison for Dres. So we can test things on the Mun and be pretty confident they'll behave the same on Dres. So that might be what we do. Like I might send the Dres lander prototype to the Mun, either with or without Kerbals, to test out the I mean, obviously, I guess the deployment process, like once it's in the robotic parts, we'll test at the Kerbal Space Center, then test on the Mun either with sending Kerbals on or just doing it remotely. But yeah, so that's why it didn't add any power or anything to that. We'll have to remember to do that. Or we'll learn as part of the testing process anyway. So yeah, we have saved the game. I'll save it again because I'm paranoid and I keep forgetting that I saved games. And we will go back to the main menu. But yes, I hope everyone's watching. I hope you've enjoyed. And again, sorry for sort of cancelling last minute on the stream that was scheduled yesterday evening. I will try to avoid doing that if at all possible, because like I'm normally in on Sunday evenings, but I think it's just because it was bank holiday weekend, so I stayed out a bit late. But yeah, so we should be hopefully getting Wow, you've really picked a great time to raid, Donut. I'm just finishing. um, I mean, I could keep going, I suppose. No, no, I do try to keep it to 2 hours. I started at 2, so for everyone who's raiding with like Donut, like thank you very much. I could get going for a few minutes. Yeah, I will. Yeah, I will do. Since you literally just raided as I was finishing up, I'll go for a bit. I'll go for a bit longer. Okay, we're going back in. Oh, thanks for the follow, Morlock. Right. Okay, we're extending this a bit. I think my longest stream so far is 2.5 hours. So um, there's a bit of headroom here. I'll keep going for a bit. I don't have any other plans, so I'm happy to keep streaming. If there is suddenly a popular demand, which apparently there may be. Yes, fortunately, fortunately, Donut, you haven't missed any horrendous launches that resulted in blowing up the VAB at all. That definitely has not happened. There have been no incidents, so you didn't miss much. It'll be available on the video on YouTube later when I actually do the YouTube export. But yeah, we'll go back to what we were doing then. So yes, we're going to continue with the design testing of yes, a Dres Canyon Explorer. Essentially, is the idea because I think I know roughly where the Dres Canyon is. It's quite a big thing. Probably can't miss it. And it looks like on the tracking station, it looks like that giant canyon-looking thing is where it is what the Dres Canyon is. So, but yes, definitely didn't destroy the VAB by accident for the first time in like ever playing KSP. How are you doing anyway, Donut and Morlock? And presumably other viewers who've joined at the raid. Again, thank you very much for the raid, Donut. Right, where were we? We did save it. No, not that one. We're going to Dres. So Dres Canyon Explorer, which at the moment does not have any power, which is interesting. Oh, nice. How is it? Have you been? First, just done a few hours GTA RP. Are you still continuing with Piers Diamond? Sorry, I use the name Piers and immediately Morgan follows in my mind. So. All good, cheers, mate. Just been chilling and listening to Donut singing. Oh wow, I'm quite sad that I missed that. Right, cool. Let's just quickly, just before we do anything else, let's add some power to this thing so we don't run out of power. 1K is probably a bit excessive, to be honest. I mean, this thing isn't going to be massively power hungry, so we can probably just go ahead with the 100s. Let's add a couple here. Probably add a ladder as well. I mean, we do have a fair bit of leeway in the engine here. The engine's quite a bit more powerful than we need, so I don't want 2 of them though. Like a ladder here, so we can climb up. And yeah, I'll do fine. Because in theory we should be able to fly on Dres, so we shouldn't have too much of a problem. But that's some power. We do want some ability to generate power as well, so. Some kind of solar panel would be useful because yeah, this engine doesn't generate power. So, what options do we have in solar panel technology? Probably just grab like, actually no, we can grab the 1x6, maybe these ones. Stick them on the outside there. It's just we have some ability to generate power, basically. We also want a communication thing. Singing very badly, lol. Oh, I'm sure Piers is singing has a voice of an angel. Yeah, don't be sad. Cool, we've got these, let's track those. Right, so this hopefully will work. Again, we'll test this properly on the Mun. Like a little hop one way and a hop the other way. But that should be everything we need. So let's save this. Let's add a decoupler of some kind. I'm thinking probably like attach from the top and like drop it. So we get a mini decoupler, pop it on here. We set the force percent to 0 because the idea is we'll just drop it gently. We will reroute so that the decoupler is the root part, so that way that when we merge it in, we can attach it by the decoupler. Right, so let's save this. Let's do something new, which will hopefully be the main lander, which I think we'll just go ahead and build from the thing. So Piers is having a breakdown. For your pleasure. I will definitely check that. I'll definitely check that out. I'm not sure if I can do that now, or if there's a way of like playing that in like on the stream or something. I'm not sure if that's something you can do. I do want to send 3 guys down because I do want to deploy probably now. Is there a thing that you can? I don't know if I've set up Streamlabs to play clips like on the thing. Oh, actually, I probably won't need to mute because I can because the game's all. Oh yeah, true. I will need to mute because it'll come through the desktop audio, won't it? Like I mean, it'll come through the stream audio, but it shouldn't get caught on my mic because it's all coming through the headphones. I can give it a try. I mean, you don't mind if oh, there's no pause menu on here. They have audio voice already. I'll definitely check it out and like after I'm done after we're done here. But anyway, so I do want to send 3 guys down because I want to send an engineer because engineers are good for deploying solar panels. Yeah, no, yeah. But yeah, I mean, don't like, you know, feel free to post your like your clips and stuff. Like obviously I'd be a bit like, you know, I think it's sort of etiquette to sort of ask if you want to post links to things, but I mean, you're one of my mods, and like I trust you to use your judgment in when it's appropriate to post links and stuff. So, right, can we go on these? We want a docking port. We don't want a shielded one because we're not doing anything in atmosphere. That'll let us dock with the main ship. Cool. We set this to Dres, not Moho, because we're doing Dres now. Where's Dres gone? Why is it that Dres is down here and not? I think Dres is in the same place in the solar system, so I'm not sure why it's suddenly below Joule. But there you go. It's not further out than Joule. I think it's between Duna and Joule, so it shouldn't be. Anyway, so this is going to be our thing. I think trying to do like a return module. So as kind of before. So fuel tanks to stick with the 2.5 meter set, so we go for this one. And then I'm thinking maybe if I try the because I think what the mod is kind of screwing with this one. I don't know if well, I guess 7.47, 2129. I mean, that's way more than we need for the purposes of leaving. So 4 of those, we'll have we need to put some so we need to put some science storage containers on here. We don't want 4 of them, we only need 2. And again, we don't need to worry too much about their we'll clip them in a little bit just for streamlining, but like that, but we don't need to worry too much about them sticking out because again we're not dealing with an atmosphere. So this is going to be our return module. We'll stick a little ladder as well. Oh yeah, we also want to put our we'll put some solar panels on here too. We don't need to worry too much about electrical because the command pod's got 150 electric charges, probably enough for what we need. So we'll stick on some solars, which we'll put on. Just have 2 there, and then we'll stick a communitron, one of these in the middle. So that should do. That'll serve the power generation for the entire lander. And again, we've still got way more thrust to weight ratio and delta V than we need for getting off of Dres. So we can build the rest of the lander below here. So the plan will be a regular TD25 decoupler, which will go off at the same time. We'll stick a ladder on there as well. For the ease, again, like they should be able to use their jetpacks to fly, but obviously there's no guarantee of that. So if we have a ladder there, then they can definitely climb up and down. Right, we'll try a interstage fairing, but I want to try and make it as like we'll stage this one. We will interstage nodes, like so, and that'll hopefully be enough to. Because again, I'm kind of wary of it being of building a wide lander, of building a tall lander, because tall landers are very easy to flip over, as we learned. So, like ideally, it would be wide, but I might be able to. Actually, I think if I rotate this such that so these things are here, then we could stick extra fuel tanks on the side to widen the landing legs. And again, we might not need it to be this tall, because so we go to the robotics parts and try to figure out what the best way to do this will be. Because ideally we want like the thing to be here. We want it to come out and down. So we probably want the small hydraulic cylinders. We're not going to necessarily need the rotating bit, because if we put it here, then we know that we don't need to rotate it out. So I'm thinking if we stick the hinge there, rotate it up like that, maybe move it a little bit down so it's not quite so embedded in the thing. Okay, it's about as good as it's going to get. See you, Morlock. Thanks for stopping by, and thanks for the follow as well. Greatly appreciated. No, well, that way. Okay, that's not quite what we want. Maybe we can move this a bit further back. Right. It's about as far back as it's like feasibly gonna go. Maybe we can. Essentially, I want the like I want when this thing is stowed, I want it to be like hanging from the middle, because I want the center of mass to be as close to the middle as possible, and then when we like deploy it. So I'm thinking if we target angle down like that, maybe we can use cube. Maybe we can use a cube strut to, which I believe is not a cube. Where's the cube piece gone? There it is. Micro node. Maybe the micro node's what we want. Yeah, that might do actually. So we grab another one of these hinges and we pop it there and then rotate it down. Like so, then that's roughly in the middle there, which is just about what we want. Now if we grab another structural piece, just one of these, just to space it, and then hopefully we can, well, we'll save this as a Dres lander. we will. Oh yeah. I'm going to save and continue. We want to Dres Canyon Explorer, which we want to do merge, which will hopefully bring this thing in. We rotate it down, and then hopefully, if we zoom in, we can attach it to here. And then now you see it's a bit it's obviously clipping through the bottom a bit. So if we stick that there, then that is not where we want it to go. We want to detach this for a minute. Are we down there? And delete fairing. We don't want to build the fairing yet. This might fit better. Yeah, it's a little bit too low down now, so we want to take it one node up. Try that. There you go. Right. Should be about central, I think. Do you want to rotate this around so that we can access the rotate this around so we can access all the science equipment from this set of ladders. So yeah, if we add another TD6 decoupler to here, that way we can sort of like hold it stable there. And again, this thing will be looking a little bit tall, but again, if we build a wider base, so I'm thinking if we put like two, like a set of tanks here and here, so we leave the space there. Maybe we'll do like a 3 tank setup or something. Just want to like a wide enough base that we don't risk tipping over when we land. But yeah, so let's grab some struts. Actually, we want to make like so, just hold it in place. This looks a little bit silly. Actually, I don't think we need it to actually be on the decoupler. I think those struts will go when the decoupler goes, I think. I might be wrong though. Actually, I'm not sure they will. I think they need to be physically attached to the decoupler. I don't know if we can attach them to the legs. That kind of works. They're attached to the engine itself, but yeah. Yeah, so they are attached to the decoupler, so they should disappear when the decoupler goes. But we want to remove this decoupler from the staging, because we want these decouplers to be controlled by the mini lander deployment rather than anything else. So let's make sure we're still set to Dres. We don't want this engine to be staged. Please no boom boom. We want this to go well. Well, I'm kind of like planning on there being some boom boom whilst we're testing it, and the idea is that it won't go boom when we actually get to and land on Dres, which is part of the reason why I went through so much rigmarole testing the lander we're sending to Moho, because I didn't want to, because I'm playing on hard mode, right? There's no reversing, there's no quick saving, there's no quick loading. If we crash, we crash, and we have to, and if the Kerbals survive, we have to rescue them. So yeah. Cool. Right, so let's focus again on again like the landing stage. So we're going to stick with 2.5 meter parts. We'll go for a slightly larger one because we've got more mass now. Ooh, and we'll put it in the wrong place. We shall add an engine plate and a couple of the. See what 3 of the Terrier engines gets us in terms of delta V, etc. Bear mount 1571, 7.41. That's again quite a bit more than we need. So I'm thinking maybe we'll go for the we go for the shorter and wider approach. So smaller fuel tank. Again, this is still, you know, double what we theoretically need, but it also means we can add. Ooh, wow, this is lagging a bit. Oh yeah, because we're on a. Wow, this is quite laggy now. Right, we don't want 4, we want 2. Right. 2 symmetry, like so. Just give us a wider landing base. Of course, this will make it a bit more of a pain for the purposes of what's this delta? What's this T? So TWR is still like 6.13, which is pretty good. Like we don't need more engines. In theory, actually, I think we could probably do like 1 Terrier on each one, rather than just having all 3 underneath the central platform, which I think might be an idea. So, instead of doing this, we switch this back to a single attach node. Pop one there, which obviously gives us, yeah, that's not quite as much, but we can do that. Then there's 3 on. Oh, there you go. 6.01, 2000 delta V, which is way more like delta V than we need for landing on Dres, because we should really need about 500. Yeah, so now we add a we continue building everything. So again, like power and stuff will all be handled by the top stage. This is literally just landing and deploying our mini lander. So we'll add a. Again, we have some leeway in terms of the delta V and thrust weight ratio here, so we can add some more stuff without worrying about it not being like, just to make it look a little bit better. So I'm thinking of popping these on there just to make them look a bit better. We do need some landing gear before we do anything else. So I'll add struts, hopefully be a bit of a wider landing base, and ideally if we can rotate so that we're coming in like this way, then we've got a wider base in one direction than we do in another, so that'll be one thing we want to try and do. Alternatively, just try and land vertically, be another thing. Right, so that'll do for that. Let's retract all of these. Then we do have to program the deployment process, so we do need a CAL controller, which is in robotics. We only want one of these, I think, so stick this on here, and this thing will be the thing controlling the deployment process. We also want to make sure we've got enough ladders, so we do want a ladder down here. We want it not that way, not that way. So move these down so they do meet in the middle, because we don't want to test the ability of the we do want to test the ability of Kerbal to get in and out as well. Again, it'll be more difficult on Kerbal than it will be on the Mun. Oh, I clicked off. Hang on, we're back. This won't be long enough. I don't think it will, but no, not quite. Go for another one of these. Make sure we have enough ladder, and we'll keep these extended for now, because I want to do a test on the runway when we actually have. No, that's what I wanted to do. Cool. So yes, hopefully like they can reach the stuff from the ladder. Right, so we open the editor here. We kill this thing, the mini lander deployment. Oh, we also want to add the that would have been a bit of a costly mistake there. Made it quite difficult to land. Actually, I think we can stick our cargo on these bits, can't we? Yeah, keep an eye on this stuff. Right, so yes, so this thing we want to go into action groups, mini land deployment. So the things we need are, we need this this decoupler, which we want to add decouple. You want to name this like body decoupler. We want this decoupler, which we want to add decouple to. We want to call this the arm decoupler, so we know which one's which. We also want to add this fairing here, so that'll be to deploy the fairing. We want this hinge, which we want the target angle on. We call this one the, I usually call it the shoulder hinge, because it's like the bit the shoulder hinge, because it's like the thing attaching the arm to the body, so it's kind of a shoulder in my mind. Which at the moment will probably be at a very silly angle, but we want to make this a bit longer. Like, go a nice slow deployment, 60 seconds. We want the target extension here, which will be the arm itself. Then have target angle should be so wrist hinge 1 and wrist hinge 2, which I think are all the things we need. Cool. I'll see if I can get this this deployment program working. So in theory, we need to double check. So drag this around, it will put everything in start mode, which at the moment is, yeah, very wrong. So shoulder hinge is where we want it. The arm extension is where we want it. That one's where we want it. It's this hinge 2 is the opposite way around to what we want. So we want that up here. So I think my plan would be the first 5 seconds will be deploying the the first 5 seconds would, so if we go to like here, add a point there, make sure that's at 5 seconds, and then value, I think this is positive 90. Make it straight, so basically it stays the same for the first 5 seconds. Everything stays the same for the first 5 seconds. First thing that happens would be the body decouple would go, the protective shell will go first, because that's basically, we're going to have the fairing around here. So if we add a point here and then make that at 1 second, so the fairing will deploy. It will have the body decoupler go at the same at the same time. It'll go for like 1.5 seconds, like so. Then at 5 seconds we'll start the process of sort of like gradually lowering things out. So shoulder hinge at the moment is there. We want to add a point there, and then make that 5 seconds exactly. We'll ignore what the actually what we'll do is we'll okay, mate, so I'll head off now. We'll catch up with you soon. Yeah, no worries, Donut. Like, thank you very much for the raid. Yeah, I won't. Straight lines, please. I won't be streaming for too much longer, I don't think, because I've already like over half an hour off, and like yeah. But no, like I say, thanks for everyone who's sort of raided with and is sort of stuck with and is still watching. again, hopefully we'll be on again on Thursday to continue this endeavour. But I feel like doing the rest of this program is probably going to take a while, so I'm thinking what I'll do is I'll save what I've got, and we'll come back to this on, again, Thursday about 6 PM is what I'm planning on streaming next. So we'll do this, we'll program this thing, we'll drop it on the runway, test the deployment process on Kerbal like we did with the Moho lander. Then we'll have a go at trying to get it, well, basically we'll build the thing that will take it to Dres, we'll take it to the Mun first, try landing it on the Mun to make sure that like it lands okay, etc. And yeah, we'll and then hopefully we'll have everything ready to go, and then we'll just time warp to the where we'll get everything ready. We'll time warp to the transfer windows and start trying to launch Kerbals. Yeah, so we'll leave this. We'll save what we've got currently, and we will head back to the KSC for now. And I might actually do a bit of I might just do a little bit of hiring before we because I want to make sure I've got enough Kerbals, because we're going to need like 10 Kerbals to go on these 2 different missions. So I might do that now actually, just before we finish. So, astronaut complex. How many do we have available? We've got 4 pilots, 4 engineers. We've only got 2 scientists, so we want to hire a couple of more scientists if there are any. So there's one there. These stats don't really mean a lot. So we've got a couple more scientists. Let's just grab a couple more pilots and another. Well, I think we have enough engineers, because we're only sending one engineer with each mission. So that should leave us some left over. So yeah, we've got 4 scientists, more than 4 pilots. Yeah, that should be fine. And we'll decide who we're sending where, like nearer the time. But yeah, we'll leave the facility, and yeah, I'll conclude the stream now. So save game again, and we'll head back to the main menu for the last time this time. But yes, again, thank you everyone for joining, and then once again thanks to the raid donut, and yeah, wait for the menu to load again, which will take a while because of all the mods. Come on, where is it? Right here, yeah. So we'll just try and do the sign off again. Yeah. So yeah, Thursday 6 PM. BST will be when I'm planning on streaming next. It's in the stream schedule, and again, like I'll try and keep that up to date. So if anything comes up and I'm not able to do that, then I'll try and sort of cancel the stream ahead of time. But other than that, yeah, I'll hopefully see you then. And thanks everyone for joining me.